Hey everybody.
What's happening?
Hey, welcome back to the Unreal Engine live stream. I'm Alexander Pascal, your Unreal Engine community manager. Joining me today, Sam Deiter and Yannick Lange. Did I say your last name right?
No, you didn't.
Oh.
Say your last name.
My name is Yannick Lange.
Okay.
You didn't,
wow.
say,
Wow,
you
not
didn't
even
say it
close.
Dutch enough.
Not even
yeah.
vaguely close. Wow, that's my American
It's
education
okay.
for you. All right, yeah, today we're talking about VR stuff and 411 and all that. But Shelly, first, it's the news.
Oh,
Thank
sweet.
you.
Look
Oh,
at
that is such a good cut. All right, so first things first, I'm sure that some of you have perhaps heard, we have opened up a publishing office in Berlin, Germany. So,
Ich bin ein Berliner.
Ich bin ein Berliner. Yes. Yeah, we've been getting a few good jokes out of that one. But it's pretty exciting. We have 2 people there so far, and also, please take a look at our careers page. If you go to epicgames.avature.net/careers, which I'll also put into the YouTube description of this after the fact, and I'm going to put it into the Twitch chat now.
Or you could just Google Epic
Or you can
Games
just,
careers.
it'll just show up. It's like the first thing in Google. But it's really cool. We got a whole bunch of new jobs open, and we actually have a ton of careers in here that we're always looking for people for. So please come and apply. Shelly.
It says the URL.
Oh, ha! I was like, Shelly, what are we looking at here?
I'm helping.
I'm helping. Thank you, Shelly. It was really good. All right. Next up, East Coast Game Conference it's coming up. It's in our backyard. It is right over here in Raleigh, and I will be going. I think like half of Epic's
I'm
staff.
actually giving 2 talks there.
See this guy?
VR performance talk, and then another VR and locomotion and some other stuff with Louis Cataldi.
Oh,
Say
okay.
his last name?
Yeah,
Louis
Cataldi. Yeah.
Him and I are going to be doing a tandem talk, and then the next day at like 9 in the morning, I get to do a talk on VR performance. My talk's called "Make Your Content Like It's 1999."
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, it's gonna make it like super performant.
Yep.
Right. Yeah. All right. Cool. So, if you have not yet, if you're going to be anywhere near the East Coast, like on the 19th, you've got to check this out because it's gonna be me. Everybody's gonna be there, and then if you want to go ahead and register, do it now because the prices are gonna go up on the 17th at 5. So you've got like 3 days until the prices jump up massively. So please go on ahead, register, come on, meet everybody, say hi to me, we'll all hang out. It'll be super duper fun. So yeah, that's that. Please come on out. All right, so some of you may have been checking out all of the new stuff that came out with our Vive Dev Grants. And I'm just like super stoked about this, that people are posting online about when they get them and what they've actually been doing with them. So we've got a few here, like PC University has already received theirs and is using it. The turnaround time on these Vive Dev Grants has been really fast because it's really easy for us to just say, okay, Valve, like shoot one out. Because we don't have them here, we just tell them when to send them out.
You get like a code or something like that, and you put the code in the website, or I don't know how it works.
We kind of like just tell them like go do the thing. But yeah, please go to apply for Dev Grants if you're interested. So PC University is using theirs. We've got Fran Boot already posting about how they got theirs. Let's see here, and then Chris Robertson got his so he can work on his Mana stuff. So yeah, congratulations to everybody who got one. These are just the handful of people that kind of came into my field of view that I saw were talking about theirs that they got already. Again, turnaround time, super cool, super fast. So go on ahead, start applying. Apply again if you've made new updates, because they're still going through the log of them. Basically, we made announcements and then we got flooded, and so like the earlier there is a backlog that they're still going through, but it was they're trying to make this like a super fast turnaround. So go back and apply stuff. Cool. All right, on to Community Spotlight. First up, though, we got to go over here and talk about the Answer Hub, Sages, and everyone who's going to be getting an Answer Hub badge. Can you hit F5 for me right now?
Yeah, sure. F5.
There we go. So every week we talk about the top 3 Karma earners on Answer Hub and congratulate them for being so super cool. And then I give them badges. Cool. So we have Kylie or Kyle. I don't know which one it is, but you got one last week. But congratulations on being #1 this week. Clean Cut is number 2. You're brand new. I've never seen Clean Cut before, so awesome job, good work. And Ryan John 2040, congrats again. You were also on last week's, but you've kept up your karma, so good work. We have a bunch of other people on here too. It came pretty close. Really awesome work. Love what you guys are doing out there. So please, keep it up. Keep being competitive on it because you get your badges and all that. So good job. All right. So Shelly's talking in chat. So there we go.
Ooh,
Haha.
that was cool.
So for our community spotlight, the Odin plugin by Benjamin Smith. This actually just went live, I believe he said to me earlier. He sent me a message about it, but I had already planned on spotlighting this project while it was in development. It's the Odin Tracker plugin. So this thing is a kind of combination of source control, project management stuff, some service stuff. But here you go. You can see task tracker, capture tool, time tracker, setting custom templates, and workflow builder stuff. It's pretty neat, and it's got a let's see here. It's got a lot of really cool new features and all that in it. And yeah, so he's got his estimated prices up now. But again, these are some really cool features. It's going to have a basic one for free, so that's really cool. And I highly recommend checking out this whole thread about what all it's going to be able to do, what's already been implemented, what the plans for the future are. Very, very good work. Again, nice stuff, Benjamin Smith. This is pretty prolific little plugin here.
Is that a blueprint? What is that thing down
Wait, which one?
there? That right there.
This thing?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. This is
It's pretty cool.
yeah. This is for editing.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. But all right. Next up, I had to go into what was the website you sent me to, Shelley? howtopronounce.com. So according to that website, I'd like to say awesome job to Orpheus LF Thoreau, and that's how it told me to pronounce it. And I'm going with either technology has failed me or whatever. But I'm sorry if that was not how to pronounce it. But pretty sure Orpheus is correct. So Orpheus has made a bunch of very cool tutorials on his website, and they're just very nice stuff. We've got inventory system for C++, implementing AI hearing, using Unreal Motion graphics with C++, handling animations. It's a lot of very good stuff to get you started in various kinds of mechanics.
A lot of code.
Yes, and it's very
resources.
Code heavy, very good resources if you're trying to learn how to program, etc. So again, Orpheus, super cool stuff. Really appreciate anyone who's making tutorials. And as long as I'm saying I appreciate anyone who makes tutorials, if you are someone who is making tutorials or know someone who makes a lot of really cool tutorials, please share them with me. You can reach out to me on Twitter, the forums, however you want to reach out to me. Let me know that there's something cool that you'd like to be have highlighted. I do have a small log of a backlog now of things, so I would really like to keep that up where I can kind of schedule these in.
You'd like to keep it all backlogged?
Yeah, I'd like to have a large list of stuff so that I don't have to kind of. It's nice to be able to know that the community is bringing them to me instead of me going out there and just randomly grabbing people and being you.
Makes sense.
Yeah, so it's just cool to have all that feedback. So please, again, send it all out to me. And good work, Orpheus. All right. Next up.
Ooh, I saw this on the forums this morning.
Yeah, I think a lot of people actually sent me this one was check out what IOFlow is doing. It's the Eden project. This is procedural planets in UE4, and it kind of uses, I'm going to probably say this, it's Voronoi, right?
Voronoi.
Yeah, Voronoi.
Okay, so it kind of uses a sort of similar system to that to create these
Yeah, you can see.
random kind of breakdowns of
Cool.
planet shape, and then it smooths it out. Let me see, I think there's some more. Yeah, he's been developing it out. There you go, so you can kind of see what that looks like. And it creates these kind of cool risk maps or civilization kind of maps. Very, very neat features. So again, IOFlow, very awesome job here. I'd like to see where all it's going. Oh, and the other thing is it seems to sort of use a dynamic subdivision system that he's kind of made where you can zoom in, zoom out, and as you rotate and look at different parts, there you go. You can see how it kind of tessellates sort of.
It's like wrapping terrain around a sphere.
Yeah, so it allows you to get better performance out of it. So it's very cool. All right. then this one came to me. Just I was sitting on Slack, and I got like a hi, and I'm like, oh, who's this? Like I haven't met you before, and then got these really amazing images. And I would just like to say congratulations to Michelle for making this amazing hat. And also thank you so much for sharing the Unreal pattern with me so that I can give it to my fiance. She was
So she can knit you your own.
yeah, so that was my whole idea. Is like, yeah, could you just if you give me the U logo, she'll find a hat pattern and she'll put it in there. So yeah, so again, Michelle, thank you so much for making that. It's really cool. I actually sent it over to our marketing, and I sent it over to Melissa, basically, who's in charge of what goes on the marketplace stuff and what we sell. I'm like, how can we get these? And she's like, I don't think that we're going to be able to get a bunch of nice hand-knitted hats manufactured. And,
What are we, Etsy?
but yeah, like maybe if we got like an army from Etsy to come together and help us out. But these are just super cool. Also, I really like your matrix stuff in the back. I'll have to show that to Kim Library because, he worked on it. You can see like the squid.
Oh, that's what that thing is?
It's got, it looks like it's got to be
I
the
thought it was
squid.
some crazy predator thing.
No,
No, you're totally right.
Yeah, it's the squid.
A century or something.
Yeah.
But we actually have Kim Library here who did the special effects for the Matrix, so we should send him that. He'll appreciate it. All right. Let's see here. All right, the last thing that we got, Shelly, you have a video for us. So I've talked about this once before, and I'd like to bring this up again. Luos has been working on a particle a day for basically a year. I think it's like 356 days or something like that, he says.
356 days of particles or something like that.
And, oh, I didn't realize Michelle is one of the two people that's working on Nilo. I didn't even realize it just popped up in chat, but the person who made the hat also working on that game Nilo that's like really hardcore sci-fi, shoot 'em up. It's really nice. But yeah, Lewis asked me to talk about, this particle, and I was like, oh, I'll take a look. And it's like, oh my gosh, my mind is blown. And yeah, worked really hard on it, it seems like, made a whole Mega Man model and all that, and then made this just awesome, I think it's called the Kaiser...
Kaiser beam.
Kaiser beam, thank you.
Kaiser Permanente makes a beam.
Yeah, Daniel Kaiser. You're gonna get him on here to talk about his Kaiser beam. Oh yeah. All right, enough with my cheesy jokes.
What?
Oh hey, it's
She
back
got
to
those
us.
awesome swipes from. That was amazing.
Well, yeah, she's really like been cranking out the good stuff there, huh? All right. So yeah, we definitely want to cover all the new stuff that's been coming into UE4 with 4.11, and I think we had a bunch of questions come up on the forums when I had posted this, just about instant stereo rendering. So we have new docs and everything. I should give you this,
I will take
so you can talk about the
your
new
mouse.
documentation
Slowly.
updates and all of the helpful cheat sheet guides and all that. And oh, Katatis is in the chat. We have these nice new little icon bumper things for when some people come in, and we're going to work on expanding that library to all of our regulars over time. But Katatis, there you go.
So, as Alex said, 4.11 introduced some new features, and one of the previous streams I talked about instant stereo rendering, which is now in the 4.11 binary. So it's very, very, very simple to enable. You just come here to your project settings. Underneath VR, there's a checkbox called instant stereo rendering. You just enable that, and you will enable instant stereo rendering. Now, the editor will require a restart when you do this, and upon the restart of the editor, every single shader is going to have to be recompiled. So that means that it could take you a very long time before your project actually successfully loads itself again, because it is literally compiling new shader fragment code into every material for the instant stereo rendering to be effective. And basically, what instant stereo rendering does, for those of you who don't know, and I'll show you this video as well. Here, I'll play this as I talk. But basically, as you can see, what it's doing right now is with instant stereo off, it is drawing the left eye, and then it's drawing the right eye. And it's going to finish. There we go. And then that is the image that is displayed to the HMD. Now with instant stereo rendering, as you can see, both the left and the right eye are being drawn simultaneously, meaning that the information between the left and the right eye is being shared. So what this allows you to do is just make your scene go faster, because you are now sharing data sets between both your left and your right eye instead of having a unique data set for each one. Yannick, do you have anything more to say about that?
Well, I saw like someone asking about constraints for instant stereo rendering. And I don't know all of them specifically, but Mike told me that there will be like docs that Exclusive.
So this feature is still in, I'm gonna say, the early stages. It's out of experimental, so it is a fully fledged support feature. Going forward, we are going to do some more documents on it. As for what features will and will not work with this particular feature turn on and turn off, I don't have that information at this time. However, if you do find out that there are some features that are working or some features that are not working, please post to the forums, post to Answer Hub, because it could simply be something that maybe we overlooked or something that we never thought that we would test with, or there's a million reasons why we might have missed something. But we have a really great community, and we really take it to heart when you guys post stuff on the forums like, hey, this feature's not working, or I tried to enable this and it didn't work. That goes into Jira. It's stuff that we talk about. We link to your guys' posts all the time that says, hey, these community members are having these problems. Here's these 6 posts about it. So, you guys, you get a lot of traction here internally if you're not aware of that or not.
Yep.
So,
and also what's important to note is the more people that talk on a thread, also as we update our reports, we have a special column just for community, what we call community interest, and it's how many people are talking about this thing. It kind of gives it a pulse of oh, this is a lot of people are affected by it, or a handful of people are affected, but it's really bad kind of thing, or it's really good. You never know.
So what else do we have in here? One of the other things that we have. This is a new doc, so I'm just going to pull it over here. I talked about this in, I think it was like 3 or 4 streams ago on our Tuesday stream, but the VR camera refractor. And we're going to look at this, and oh my god, it looks so complicated. It's actually not very complicated. All this does is it allows you to now attach things to your HMD and have them follow your HMD in a one-to-one. All you have to do is literally go here to your components browser, and then whatever object you want to follow the camera, you just drag and drop it. Well, I obviously can't do it in here.
Trying to drag and drop the
Trying to drag and drop the image in here, but you drag and drop it onto the camera. So you see there's this little triangle right here, which means that the cube is now a child of the camera component. So that means that, I'll play this video right here that shows me kind of moving the cube around. So now I put that cube on there, I move my head to the left and to the right, and that's it. That's all I have to do. In the previous stream, I showed you how to basically use this to turn your head to the left to pull up some type of menu like this, and then you go the other direction, and it'll pull up another menu while this one slides away, like some Elite Dangerous style stuff. But this really opens up a whole bunch of possibilities for things that you can do to the player. Like, you could mount part of a curved UI to the head, or there's just a ton of things that you could do.
I could definitely see how the guys that are making Adrift, like you have the helmet on you, and you probably want to always make sure that that's somewhere relative to your camera positioning.
Or before you used to have to get like I think it was the transform offset of the camera. There was a bunch of other little things that you had to do that made prototyping something a little cumbersome, because if you didn't do one thing, then all the other things wouldn't work. And this is just literally like, I'm attached this to my head. Check it out. No, that's horrible. Or, oh my god, that's amazing. So it's very, very quick for iteration time. One of the other cool things that this allows you to do is you can get, using just this little bit of code right here, you could set this up, but basically what this does is when I hit the T key, it prints out to the log the position of the player in the world, and I got that just by getting the camera position of the player. So I can get actual physical location of my player in the world just by sampling where the camera is with this camera refractor. So that's actually a pretty powerful thing to do. Because it's very, very, very simple. Got anything else you'd like to add to that one?
I wish we had this for VR editor. Well,
let's see, what else do we got here? Oops. And the other thing that we worked on, or got a little bit of stuff done, I updated some of the VR cheat sheet stuff, showing you how to actually use the VR preview, which wasn't there for the longest time. Also updated some of the commands that you'll see on here for the Oculus specific commands. And I didn't pull it over. On the
the best practices guide.
Don't make VR virtual reality best practices, where we were already at. I included the VR instant stereo rendering. I included these VR INI settings that were pulled right from Showdown. So if you are having some issues getting your VR project to run, try throwing these into your config/default engine INI under the system settings. You can literally just copy and paste this entire thing and drop it in there. What else did I add up to this guy? Let's see. A little bit more on VR performance. Using the profiler, the GPU profiler. A couple little new blurbs about post-process in there, specifically disabling post-process. So to disable it currently, you'll need to click on like intensity or amount and just set that value to 0. That way you can ensure that everything has been disabled and turned off, and that's it.
I'm not sure that people can hear you clicking on the icons as you go over them, like you're attempting to click on them in the editor.
Let's see, what else do we got here? New target frame rate of every device. So what the DK1, what the target frame rate your project should be hitting, Rift, Vive, Gear, all that good stuff. A little bit about the camera setup. And I think that's about it.
Temporal AA changes.
Yeah, temporal AA. Yeah. Temporal AA, as you can see here, what this basically does is temporal AA basically it's flashing the difference between it's the back buffer. So it compares what is going on. Mm-hmm. That is what gives you the AA. That's why it's kind of a little bit, let's say blurry, but a little bit fuzzy. But one of the cool things that you can do with it is you can get some very expensive features that normally would be probably cost prohibitive in VR, such as something that gives this smoke trail. If you see right here, it looks a little translucent, almost like almost like they're using translucency there, when in fact they're using an opacity mask. So this trail, and you can see right here, it doesn't look very translucent, just looks very thick. Over here, we've got some translucency going on. And this is done through the dither temporal AA material function that you can find in the editor. And again, this gives you the look of a translucent surface, but at the cost of a masked opacity. So that's very, very cheap. We've got some more information in here about how to fake shadows, specifically blob shadows from characters. This is the soldier that you see in Showdown, and you can see as his foot gets closer and closer to the ground, his shadow gets a little larger. And this is ridiculously cheap. This is I think it's a modulated unlit shader that goes into the emissive channel, uses customized UVs and world position offset. Mm-hmm. Ridiculously inexpensive, and gives you some fantastic looking, very soft drop shadows. So definitely check this out.
Can fake it in very well, because of course shadows are just ridiculously expensive.
Yes, because you have to render them, for each eye, and you can have shadows in VR. It's just you have to develop your project with that in mind. So if you're going to have that turned on, you have to make a cut somewhere else. And what this allows you to do is it allows you to basically have a very simplistic looking shadow to give your characters that grounding that they need. It's very crucial to make them look like they're actually sitting in the scene, but without paying that cost for, SSAO and dynamic shadowing and things like that. Updated the blueprint functionality here, and a couple of the known issues, and that is about it. We have some more updates planned, but we're currently doing a gap analysis on a lot of our learning material, which means we're looking at all of our material, seeing what we have, what we don't have, what we need to have, so that we can more target our learning resources to better serve you guys, make sure that you have everything that you need for beginners, intermediate, and advanced. So let's see, what else do we have going on here today? That's about it for me for the VR doc updates.
Whoa, and dang, Shelly, that was a cool swipe. You see that was like all high tech? Sorry.
That's all Metroid-y. Yannick, do you have anything to talk about the VR editor?
You want to show your clip?
Yeah, we can start with that, I guess.
All right, let's show the clip.
So, I don't know who saw the VR editor already. Probably some. I've been working on a new way of interaction with objects because we found that it was
a little cumbersome sometimes.
Yeah, a lot of people had problem with it, and yeah, just trying out new stuff. With VR, you just never know if something's gonna work or if it will.
I like moving it along the axes like that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it looks a lot smoother
it's really
now.
So we just try things and see how it works out.
It's basically throwing things at the wall and seeing what sticks.
Yeah, I guess so. This is kind of like the editor, the normal editor gizmo with the rotation. but not exactly the same because it's VR, of course. it's not the same, but yeah, we're just trying new stuff, and if someone has feedback or has ideas for a VR editor, please like throw them at me.
Yeah, there is
because,
Yeah, let me grab
the
that.
VR editor mega thread. I
we
read
have a
that
thread,
when
and
I get in the morning.
Yeah, I really love the updates you've been making to it. The rotation does look a lot smoother, and also I like how you kind of walk forward with the pulling action.
oh yeah,
Looks really nice. Yeah. Let's see here. And yeah, I do encourage everyone who has any ideas to please come onto the forums, the VR development forums here, and there's an official mega thread for it, and that is where you can start putting in your suggestions, your feedback, however you, there we go, however you want to respond to it. We're getting in quite a lot of good questions here too, but I am still taking questions for the Q&A. So let's see here.
so, yeah, there's like still a lot of things we have a big workflow of things that we want to do, like really cool things that we could do. Like the other day I was trying out switching viewports so you could see your particles in VR editor, and that stuff like that is so beneficial in VR because normally when you're developing for VR games or experiences, you have to like go to your particle in the 2D editor. You do something and you just hope it looks good in VR, and then you put it in your
Screen-spacing
level,
particles are not your
and then
friend.
you have to make a pawn or something to move towards that particle in your level, and see how it looks, and then go back to your particle editor. Well, if you could do everything in the VR editor, you don't have any, like, your iteration time will be way faster.
That makes a lot of sense too. That way you don't have to like constantly like look
The
at
other,
that one.
the
look
other
at
cool
there,
thing about that, which would be really awesome, is there's a lot of effects principles that just they don't hold up in VR.
Yeah.
Like having something on a camera facing plane, like if it's just kind of some smoke that's hanging out there, like it rotates around like this. But even the funnier thing is you can keep your head straight, and if you move the HMD like this, you'll see it rotating back and forth like that. Now there's ways that you can hide that by like I've seen some fire that looked very good from the Infinity Blade packs. I was just testing stuff out for one of the VR talks that I'm prepping for, and I noticed that there were some elements that I could get rid of where when I was doing the planes, I could still visualize the particles, but each time I made an adjustment, like you said, I'd put on my headset, look at the particle. I mean, I set up a little room where I could press, some buttons and make the particles change, but it was still about 25, 30 minutes worth of setup to get to the point where I could actually test what I wanted to originally be testing.
Yeah, I tried the starter content particles with what is it, the smoke and the like fire. Just doesn't look good if you're just doesn't.
And especially when you have like the cards, like those 2D cards, because it's stereo too, so you can see the depth of how flat they are all of a sudden, and then that illusion's totally broken. Yeah, so you definitely will have to make some adjustments.
Also stuff like materials in VR.
That would be cool.
You can see, I had that as well. You can see like the normal map your VR of the like the sphere in material.
That's awesome.
The material viewport, and it's really useful.
It sounds like that would be super useful. I can't wait to use it again.
Yeah, that would be really cool. Definitely cut down on iteration time. All right. You guys want to do some Q&A?
Sure.
All right, let's do some Q&A.
Jump right into it.
Awesome. Now, we had some Q&A off of the forums, and we kind of touched on what the answers to those are, but the Q&A off of the forums basically came down to someone had turned on the instant stereo rendering and then found that it was taking them quite a while to open up the editor again.
So they got stuck at about 45%.
Yep. And that's where the shaders are compiling.
Yeah, I can guarantee that you are, without looking at any logs, you're probably recompiling, because not only are you going to compile the materials that are in your project, right? So that might be 5,000 materials. You also have to compile all of the materials that are part of the base engine install, which is like another 3,000 materials. So you could be recompiling 10,000, 15,000, 20,000 different shaders. And that's just, that's going to take a long time. I mean, it takes a long time here, and I think my computer here has like 32 cores on it. So it is a long process.
Because it's changing literally everything.
Yeah, it's literally changing everything. So I would say stick with it, or if you can, let it run overnight and see if, see if there's actually a problem there, like if it crashes, and if it does, post it to the forums, let us know.
Or Answer Hub.
Yeah,
It's
or
a
Answer
crash.
Hub, sorry. Or Answer Hub if
Bug
it's a
report
crash.
it. Thanks. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, it just takes time because that's like a big overhaul. So
It's a huge thing.
Yeah.
Huge change.
it's a little tiny checkbox, great big overhaul. So just keep that in mind. And there's a couple of those in here that are sort of similar to that. Let's see here. There's a couple of things in here that sound like bug reports. And remember, if you think you're experiencing a bug, just go ahead and bug report it just to be safe. Let's see here. You guys know anything about being able to support 1 GPU per eye rendering?
That is a...
Probably have to get Nick Whiting in on that one. huh?
Yes, I mean, I can tell you why this is. There's issues with having 1 GPU per eye, because things like the depth buffer, for example, some things won't work because your eye is going to be different, right? What I see out of my left eye is going to be different than what I see out of my right eye, but my depth buffer needs to be unified.
Oh, okay. So that's definitely something we'll have to take into consideration.
So I mean, that's one of the only one of a little tiny problem that I overheard 2 engineers talking of about particular issues about this. There's a whole bunch of other crazy ones that I can't even begin to explain because they are way over my head. Something with crazy transforms and things like that. But it is a lot harder than I could even imagine to get that to work, because there's so many little tiny things that you have to do in order to make sure that you have all of this working. It's not just simply like, okay, well, one eye will go to the left GPU and one eye will go to the right GPU. I wish it was that easy, but
Dang. Oh. So there's kind of a follow-up question to the instant stereo rendering one here that I think this is pretty good to answer. So John Alcatraz enabled instant stereo rendering, and it didn't take him long to compile everything. So, but he's not seeing a performance difference. How can you make sure that it's actually enabled, and how is that going to really affect things, I guess?
So when it was enabled on Bullet Train, they got back, I think it was like almost 1.5 milliseconds back on the CPU, or 2, and then maybe 1 millisecond back on the GPU. That doesn't sound like a lot, but those things add up over time. That is actually quite a huge saving because the millisecond's almost a frame, I think. Yeah, so you're almost saving a frame by doing that. To check to see if it's working, I do not know, but I can ask, I think it was Ryan who worked on it, if there is like a... He had to capture that video, he captured it in Unreal, so there has to be some type of command line that you could input to see if it was working or not.
All right, so there's probably something up there for that. I'll make sure that we get that info and we'll put it up on the forum post and YouTube post. That'd be good. Alrighty.
I can answer that question. The one
when using the VR
editor,
editor,
when using the VR editor, is it possible to operate without having VR hand controllers like the Vive or Vive hand controllers for the Touch? We don't have support for that right now.
Yeah, you're gonna have to have something for your
hands. You need right now. It's only the Touch or the, and nobody has those. And apparently,
do you believe that Git Nano updated his Hydra plugin?
Yeah, I think Git Nano, he's been working on a unified plugin for all VR like peripherals. That's been kind of like the main focus lately, I feel. But yeah, I think there's been some recent updates.
Well, we're going to work on VR editor being more extensible for other hardware. Right now we are doing everything with lasers, and lasers are awesome, of course. But for certain things, they don't work. Like, we tried for leap motion, like pointing the laser with your finger, or tried that, and it didn't work. So you would need some other type of interaction for that hardware. Yeah. And that's for many hardware. For VR editor. So we will try to make it so it's more extensible. So you have like, instead of for leap motion, you have like pick it up like with your fingers, something like that.
That'd be kind of cool, like pinch drag instead of having to have like the big remote control of the Vive kind of thing. So that'd be kind of neat.
At least making it more extensible for plugins and stuff like that.
Git Nano did update the VR editor for Hydra apparently.
Yeah, I was pretty sure I saw that on the forums.
That's cool. Okay, so that's confirmation there. That's really neat. All right, cool. Do either of you know about GameWorks VR, by the way?
No.
NVIDIA GameWorks VR.
Yeah, I've got those. I've got a couple questions about it lately. I'm gonna have to probably ping Nick Whiting about the status of that. I wasn't sure if you guys.
I mean, all I know is you can get it off the NVIDIA GitHub branch, but you'll have to compile it yourself.
Okay.
And then they do have like some of the cool, what is it, multi-shader, or it's like LODs, but for your eye. So it's like you're using the most instructions here, but then as you get out towards the center of the eye, or as you get away, away from the center of the eye, it becomes less and less shader intensive.
Oh.
Because you are, and the name of what that is called literally just fell out of my head. When I started
vision?
to explain it. No.
It sounds like peripheral LED.
It's like,
kind of
it's like right on the tip of my tongue. I hate it when that happens. But basically, it does that, and it does. I think they had instant stereo rendering in there as well. I haven't looked too much into it.
Okay, but you would have to go into GitHub, pull down what they have, and then integrate that yourself.
Yeah,
that's how that works.
They have it integrated, I do believe, because
multi-resolution shading.
That's what I was talking about.
Yep. Thanks, John.
Multi-resolution shading. Thank you. Now I don't know if that is included in their GameWorks branch, which has like Flex and
other people are calling it FOVAted.
FOV'd, like FOVED or something like that.
No, it's FOVEATED rendering. I've never heard that word before, but I'm learning something new right now. That's what they're calling it. I love that. It's on the tip of your tongue, and then everyone's like, "Oh, let me help." FOVAted rendering.
But yeah, that's a very, very cheap way, or the FOV. It's a cheaper way to make VR perform a little bit better, especially on cards that might not be up to the task.
Ah, that makes some sense then. Cool. Well, that sounds like it's probably something worth kind of exploring if you're wanting to check out all of their new features. All right, cool. See here, Yannick, how about that?
That actually already exists.
Really?
Yeah. Hold on one second.
So we have the question is there any form or possibility of an AR/mixed reality editor for UE4?
Oh, editor.
Yeah, but that's not what that is. You're looking up the UE4 augmented reality plugin, which is by Adam Horvath.
Yes.
See. Now there you go. Well, this isn't an editor, but this is.
I tried this at my desk. I thought this was what they were referring to, and I was like, "Man, you haven't seen this? This is freaking amazing."
Yeah, no, that's really cool. But no, I don't think.
No VR editor.
No, there's
It's not like a VR editor equivalent of AR editor right now, but it's a pretty neat idea. I'm sure that at some point it'll get tossed around in a meeting.
Yeah.
If it hasn't already. Well,
this would be cool for like Paragon or something like that.
Alrighty. See here. All right, we're doing okay on time. Cool. Is Cardboard going to get support or not? Stay tuned on that one, but there is a simple HMD plugin that I would suggest using for now. But use that plugin. It just basically it's called Simple HMD.
It's actually disabled, so you will need to go in and enable it. And I do believe that if you enable that, you should disable like Oculus. And
Gear. You just disable all the other ones because they have completely different behavior than that. So, well, Gear is kind of similar, but it's still not the same.
Gear has time warping, and there's some other Gear-specific things that are in that plugin. But the simple HMD is literally just a simple HMD, and then you would need to do things like, I would say, probably make both your left and your right eye. You probably have to make 2 separate cameras. So
you kind of have to. You can kind of fake it together right now. Kind of stitch it together using that and some kind of camera techniques. And then I think you just package that out to Android. And then So it's feasible right now, but we're taking a look at some stuff. We'll keep you posted. Don't worry. All right. How about that one? Wait. Oh, why can't I see this question? Scroll down. You're getting through the questions. Let's see here. So, because you're doing all the rotation stuff, are you working on also snapping and vertex snapping?
As in for the objects we just showed?
Yeah, kind of like that.
Yeah, we do snapping for every kind of movement or scaling.
Yeah, and with axis constraints too. So so that's all available. We can kind of rotate instead of having to have that natural flow, which might put things at kind of weird organic angles when you want something to be very precise. You can still do the precision stuff.
And the cool thing about in VR editor, something that's not in the normal editor, we have this inertia, so you always get feedback. So it feels like you're pulling it, and then at a certain point, it like snaps to that point, and it feels really good.
Oh, that's cool. Click, click, click.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. Let's see here. Can we get a list of particle stuff that just doesn't work in VR?
Yes, eventually. I'd like to put down some of the features that don't work, but the problem is that I'm not sure. Some of these features don't work because of VR as the medium, or they don't work because they just there's some technical constraint, or somebody just needs to go in and actually make this work with VR.
I think it really depends on the kind of particle you want to make, right?
That's true as well. One thing I found out that does work with VR, and I tested this out, is capsule shadows.
That would
Daniel
make a lot
Wright
of sense.
set it up to get them to work, and that's how I found out that not just everything works with VR. Like Daniel actually set everything up. He did it so that it would work with both the left and the right eye. It's relatively cheap. I had 9 characters altogether, 9 of the mannequins.
Wow.
Where it gets really expensive is so I had all my mannequins against the wall, all playing this weird, they're just idle animation. If you can get it in a way where you can see all of their shadows stacked like this, then your frame rate will tank.
Oh, okay.
So I had something like 50 of them, and on the Vive I was getting 40 something FPS or something it was dropping down to 60, and then I was like, well, why is it doing that? So I slowly would rotate my head, and I could literally see my FPS going linearly like this as I would get farther and farther away. So I went up and asked him, and he's like, yeah, it's because they're stacking the shadows on top of one another.
So I guess if you wanted to have if you had fewer characters and you had kind of better shadows, you could use the capsule shadow technique. And if you had more characters and you kind of still wanted to have shadows, you use kind of the material technique you were showing earlier in the documentation. So there's definitely more than one way to approach VR.
Well, and that's why I like game development, period, is because there's always, you might not be able to do it one way, but then if you put a little thought into it and a little experimentation, you find 6 other ways that you could actually do one thing. So I always find that that's just absolutely awesome, or people arrive at the same conclusion completely from totally opposite ends of the spectrum. And I think that's very cool that one person can start out over here, another person can start out over here, and eventually they'll meet in the middle.
Alrighty. See here. We've had a lot of questions kind of flying by really fast, but
So
if you guys...
I do see one.
Yep.
There was a bug with the motion controller being able to, basically the first bug or a really cool feature, depending on how you want to look at it. Player 1 in a multiplayer game would be controlling player 2's hands. Wes and I ran into this on the carnival games. We've just been prepping we've had a lot of shows. We have a visit to Epic Games Seattle for VR stuff. So we've had we just literally have not had the time to test that out and test out the workaround, but it's supposed to be working in 4.11. I've seen a lot of people saying that it's not working, so I'm not saying that it is. I'm just saying I've been following up on it. I told that it was fixed, but I haven't had a chance myself to actually go in and test this for myself. After ECGC is over next week, this is something that I'm going to look back into. And during my part of the gap analysis, since I do all the VR documentation, having a documented multiplayer setup is one of the documents that I put into the pipeline for me to get to at some point, hopefully towards beginning or middle and sometime in the summertime, let's put it that way. So hopefully we will get all of that stuff squared away and sorted for you guys. In the meantime, if I do find anything out, like a way to get around it or a way for it to work, I will make sure and post that in the VR forums and get it sticky to the top for the time being until we can figure out what exactly is going on and how you overcome that particular problem.
All right. I think we have quite a few questions coming in, but I think it's about time that we kicked off the Game Jam theme, and then I can let you guys get back to your very busy schedules, I know. But we're starting to get close on time, and I want to make sure that we get this in and kick it off at the proper time. So for all of you that are on the stream and aren't aware, the Game Jam, the April UE4 Jam, I should say, it kicks off right about now. Just, so there are plenty of amazing prizes to win. You can win an Intel 750 series SSD in the sweepstakes. Any 4 random people who have had a proper entry will be receiving that. So you can go out to anybody. So just enter, try hard. It'll be awesome. And those things are very cool, powerful little SSDs. They have about 400 gigabyte space, but since they're PCIe slotted, they are just really fast. And, yeah, there you go. UV4 Jam Train. There's all aboard the hype train. Thank you, Shelly. So you're having fun with the graphics today, I can tell. Oh, actually, that's a good spot for it. All right, so make sure that you use hashtag UE4Jam to let me know about all of your progress and all that, so I can also post
Somebody
about
makes
it,
us
tweet
some
it.
real jam, I'd be very impressed.
Yeah, actually, if you send us some nice real jam, I'm also a big fan of jellies and jams. They're quite tasty on toast, and it's nice. The other thing is everyone who is part of a winning team, all of the finalist teams will receive AIPD keys. So for the game AIPD, you can get them on Xbox, PS4, or Steam. Yeah, you get a key for each one of your members for that. It's a really fun game, very exciting kind of shooter. I don't know, it's kind of like Geometry Wars, sort of. I don't remember what that's a twin stick.
Never heard of it before, so.
No, it's a really super fun UE4 game. But in addition to that, you'll also be getting a Houdini Indie license from Side Effects. Now, Houdini went free, but that is actually the core Houdini software, and the Indie suite is the one that has all the different components that get clicked together, and that one didn't go free. A lot of people were asking about whether or not it went free, and then that would change things, but it's actually still costs money. So each person on your team will receive one of each of those. So good luck to you. And you know what? I think it's time for me to hit the button, and then we'll say everything. Here, it's over here. I'm gonna need you to do me a favor and hit F5 on this page. And over here.
You have 30 notifications.
Yeah, I know. Those are all people that I have to go update the list and put them in. All right, everybody.
You're a popular man.
Yep. The theme is Spring into the Future. Spring into the Future. So it's kind of a play on spring as sprung, and then Chance came in and said, we could spring into the future, though. And so since we're talking about VR, the future of games technology and all that today, would be kind of, proper for it. And we just had 4.11 come out, so there's like a whole bunch of new futuristic stuff in that. We definitely want to encourage you to do weird games that, maybe springs are trying to decide their future, and it's like a colony of spring people trying to make future technology. Maybe you launch futuristic items using a spring. I don't know. It's all up to you. I really can't wait to see what you all make of this one. So good luck. Have fun with it. I'd like to remind everyone again, if you're in the area, to please come check out ECGC, because we're going to be, basically half the company is going to be there if you want to meet someone from Epic.
We had big presence last year. I think we're having even bigger presence this year.
Yeah, we generally kind of have a ton of people there. So I would love to see everybody there. And I see that we have still quite a few questions. I'll try to kind of compile them all and see if we can't get the forum thread to have the answers put up there. But thank you all so much for coming out.
Thanks, everybody.
Good luck on the game jam.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for coming out. Thank you so much for talking about everything. You're welcome. All right. See you around.
See you guys.